Not surprising that Bharti Airtel has yet again taken to lashing out at Rel Jio. Just recently, you heard about the Dhan Dana Dhan tariff offer that had been offered by Reliance Jio, and now Bharti Airtel is challenging that in the TDSAT. We've got Gauri Dwivedi here with all the details. And what's Bharti Airtel's stance on this offer by Rel Jio, Gauri?
It has moved to the Telecom Tribunal. In fact, has challenged the Dhan Dana Dhan offer. Remember, Dhan Dana Dhan offer is also about giving freebies at 310 rupees and an additional 3 months offer. So, though Rel Jio has maintained that it's a separate tariff plan and therefore will be in fact legal and will be binding by all TRAI regulations, Bharti Airtel has challenged that tariff in TDSAT. The matter did come up for hearing today, was briefly heard today, and will be taken up on 20th of April along with the previous case. Remember, TDSAT is yet to pronounce a final verdict when Bharti Airtel and Idea Cellular had challenged Rel Jio freebies that of course were launched way back in October. Along with that case is now clubbed Bharti Airtel's latest application challenging the Dhan Dana Dhan offer by Rel Jio.
But Gauri, Reliance Jio at this point of time seems to be unperturbed by all these challenges coming in, because after the freebie offer ended, then we had the summer offer, and now of course the Dhan Dana Dhan offer. So do you think this sort of freebies will continue by Jio, regardless, keeping aside of course all of the legal tangles that the incumbents seem to be posing to Reliance Jio?
Mubina, the answer to that is very simple. If TRAI finds that these offers are valid, well, Rel Jio can continue. It found those offers to be valid in the previous two cases, that is the welcome offer and the Happy New Year offer. As far as the summer surprise offer is concerned, it was withdrawn after TRAI raised some objections. The offering of the latest tariff plan is concerned, if the regulator finds it's legal, well, chances are Rel Jio will be able to continue with its offering. As for TDSAT, as I mentioned, they are yet to give a final verdict, so we really don't know as to whether or not these freebies are on the right side of law or not. That is something only the courts will tell in due course of time. As for the regulator, it's only the third freebie that they had red flagged when Rel Jio withdrew. So it's really difficult to say as to whether or not these freebies would continue or not going forward. But one thing is for certain, it's of course putting a huge pressure on margins of incumbents.
Goa will no more be a part of a party paradise. The Chief Minister of Goa, Manohar Parrikar, has said that there is a legal ban on holding parties after 10 p.m. The ban has been upheld by the government and no controversy surrounds it. A couple of days ago, Vinod Palekar, the minister from Parrikar's cabinet, had demanded a ban on rave parties, citing reasons like the state is infested with drug trafficking and the sale of drugs. And Parrikar has instructed the police department to crack down on the selling of drugs, gambling, as well as prostitution in the state. Small towns and cities continue to face the acute cash crunch which has cropped up in the run-up to the new financial year. In fact, long queues have resurfaced outside ATMs yet again, and even as several bank counters in Tier 2 and 3 towns have gone dry. Let's get in Neha Botra, who joins in with more details. Neha, how bad is the situation and what really is the Reserve Bank saying in response to this?
Well, around the 1st of April, we thought this is just a blip, and the fact that many pockets across the country, including cities, were seeing ATMs run dry was attributed largely to withdrawal pressures arising out of the closure of the financial year. In fact, when we investigated this further, we realized that the problem is far more than what it appears to be. In fact, we visited many Tier 2, Tier 3 cities to get a pulse of the problem, and we found out a severe cash shortage which is really crippling many of the SME segments and even expenditure patterns in many of these places. Now, do remember 90% of the economy has been depending on cash, and the transition to digital modes of payment has not been as smooth in many of these places. In fact, we are also given to understand from banks we interacted with that the supply of money coming from the Reserve Bank of India has seen a decline. It used to be close to 12,000 crore rupees before the note ban, and this has dwindled to 5,000, 8,000 levels after the note ban, 5 months after the note ban. So clearly there is a shortage that we are grappling with. In fact, many places in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are seeing a shortage to the tune of 40%. Now, this is something important and it requires to be flagged off, because do remember that the rural economy has been supporting and even boosting consumption patterns across the country, and with non-availability of cash, this is something which is really choking the growth in many of these sectors across the country once again. All in all, in fact, we interacted with many bankers on the ground to get a situation pulse from them to understand how really this is panning out going forward. While most of them do expect the situation to normalize around June, they did indicate that with 1,800 currency chests across the country, there are logistical issues which are further stoking the problem, and this needs to be looked into. And this is something that has led to many of the ATMs operating at just about 35% of the capacity. Do remember that an ATM at one time can supply close to 30 lakh rupees, and with just about 35% being filled and refilled, you can imagine the kind of cash crunch many of the smaller cities in the country are facing. In fact, we reached out to many people in these cities to get a pulse on the problem, and this is what they had to tell us.
ATM पे आया, पैसे है ही नहीं ATM पे। 4-5 दिन से ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, पैसे हैं ही नहीं ATM पे, किसी पे भी ATM पे पैसे नहीं। सामने HDFC पे देखा, अब इधर आया, सब पे आ रहा है, पैसे नहीं है। बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है, अब जेब तक में पैसे नहीं है, अब सारे पैसे तो पहले ही जमा हो गए।
अब ये मेरा 8वां ATM है जहाँ पे कैश नहीं है। कल से अब तक मैं 12 ATM पे जा चुका हूँ जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ है, जहाँ पर अगर कैश है तो, लेकिन जहाँ जाओ तो ATM वो पहले से ही नहीं है, पहले से वहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है।
कहीं भी पूरे शहर के अंदर कहीं भी कैश नहीं मिल रहा है। एक इसी ATM पे नहीं, किसी भी ATM पे जाते हैं वहाँ नहीं मिलता है, और चेक भी काट के रखा है। करीब 15-20 दिन हो रहा है, ना बैंक के चेक ले रही ना वो पेमेंट दे रही है।
अभी ट्रांजैक्शन तो अपन ने उस पर ये लगा दिए है, 5 ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए उसका अपन चार्जेस लगा है, लेकिन वहाँ पे तो भी पैसा हम ट्रांजैक्शन भरने के लिए जब कस्टमर तैयार है, लेकिन अदर बैंक का भी पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है।
दिन से मैं वापस जा रहा हूँ और तकलीफ बहुत है। बच्चों को पढ़ाई के लिए पैसा होना था, लेकिन मैं पैसे नहीं दे पाया वहाँ पे स्कूल में।
The newly launched utility vehicle from the house of Tatas, the Hexa, seems to be struggling to make a mark in a highly competitive segment. Latest sales data shows the demand for Hexa has seen a steady decline. Utkarsh Chaturvedi joins us with more details. The Hexa has, Utkarsh, give us more details. The Hexa was launched with much fanfare, but clearly the numbers are not working for Tata Motors. So as desperate as they are to get the domestic business going, they're not finding that much luck.
It's a tepid response when it comes to the new SUV which the company launched with a lot of fanfare. Even if you look at the numbers at this point of time, so month on month the numbers have really gone down. The first month, if you see, it was only in fact 12 days, but the sales was somewhere around 1,400 vehicles, and that suggested us that the sales will go up from there, but that has not happened. In fact, if you look at the next month, the sales have gone down from there to somewhere around 1,000 units, and if you look at March, the sales have come down to 3 digits. So that clearly shows that the response has not been too positive when it comes to the Hexa. At this point of time, what we are picking up is the sales have dropped, and it is more to do with the perception as well. If you look above 10 lakh vehicle, Tata Motors has been struggling. There was a Safari, there was an Aria, which was in the previous year was never able to make a mark. Safari was one point of time was a very likable vehicle and had good sales number, but later on it dropped down. So clearly the numbers suggest that it's still time for Tata Motors to really make that name into the premium segment. In fact, if you look at the way Tiago or the Tigor, which we are picking up, is doing extremely well. So it looks like there's some more time for Tata Motors to really get that acceptance in the premium market. We'll have to really wait and watch how this car really goes ahead, given the fact that the company is doing a lot of exercise in brand building. Tamo, Racemo has come up, but initial numbers suggest that the response has been tepid, and Tata Motors is struggling to find a lot of takers for the new SUV Hexa.
Time is certainly running out for all those that don't have an Aadhaar number. Remember, your bank account could be blocked post the 30th of April if you don't link it with Aadhaar. This may also cover account holders of insurance and stocks. Let's get in Nayantara Rai, who joins in with the story. Nayantara, clock's ticking, only 18 days left for this deadline. Why the sudden urgency?
One could say that perhaps fitting in the puzzle, the minute you have to actually link your income tax return to your Aadhaar number, one of the corollaries of that would be that your bank account should also be Aadhaar linked, because in your income tax return form, you are anyway supposed to provide all the bank accounts that you hold. What the Income Tax Department is saying is that this is actually as a result of the FATCA deadline. Remember, that's an agreement between India and the United States to target undisclosed income. It's an agreement that they both had signed. So in the statement issued yesterday by the Income Tax Department, for all account holders, that's for banks, insurance as well as stocks, the accounts must be linked with Aadhaar, else they can be blocked. Submit your, the details of Know Your Customer details, as well as self-certify to comply with FATCA. But like I said, this could perhaps be a corollary of the fact that you anyway had to provide your Aadhaar number for your income tax return. But if you miss this April 30th deadline, your bank account, your insurance account, the account holding your stocks, they will be blocked, and they will only be unblocked once you self-certify and the due diligence is also done. So clearly it's not worth it at all. The warriors of privacy concerns, they're of course up in arms. They've been complaining ever since Aadhaar was made mandatory for new mobile connections, for filing income tax returns, and here's one more that it has been made mandatory for, and say that this was never needed by the agreement signed between India and the US, is being slipped in by the tax department. They continue to be fearful of possible breach of data, but in today's day and age, is there anything known as privacy anymore? But of course that's a different debate. But the big headline of course being better declare your bank accounts, link them with Aadhaar, else they could be blocked.
Time is certainly running out for all those that don't have an Aadhaar number. Remember, your bank account could be blocked post the 30th of April if you don't link it with Aadhaar. This may also cover account holders of insurance and stocks. Let's get in Nayantara Rai, who joins in with the story. Nayantara, clock's ticking, only 18 days left for this deadline. Why the sudden urgency?
You know, one could say that perhaps fitting in the puzzle, the minute you have to actually link your income tax return to your Aadhaar number, you know, one of the corollaries of that would be that your bank account should also be Aadhaar linked, because in your income tax return form, you are anyway supposed to provide all the bank accounts that you hold. What the income tax department is saying is that this is actually as a result of the FATCA deadline. Remember, that's an agreement between India and the United States to target undisclosed income. It's an agreement that they both had signed. So in the statement issued yesterday by the income tax department, for all account holders, that's for banks, insurance as well as stocks, the accounts must be linked with Aadhaar, else they can be blocked. Submit your the details of Know Your Customer details, as well as self-certify to comply with FATCA. But like I said, this could perhaps be a corollary of the fact that you anyway had to provide your Aadhaar number for your income tax return. But if you miss this April 30th deadline, your bank account, your insurance account, the account holding your stocks, they will be blocked, and they will only be unblocked once you self-certify and the due diligence is also done. So clearly it's not worth it at all. The warriors of privacy concerns, they're of course up in arms. They've been complaining ever since Aadhaar was made mandatory for new mobile connections, for filing income tax returns, and here's one more that it has been made mandatory for, and say that this was never needed by the agreement signed between India and the US, is being slipped in by the tax department. They continue to be fearful of possible breach of data, but in today's day and age, is there anything known as privacy anymore? But of course that's a different debate. But the big headline of course being better declare your bank accounts, link them with Aadhaar, else they could be blocked.
And Dalal Street took a hit today, largely on account of what Infosys did, as it failed to live up to market expectations. So we were just around the 9150 mark. The Sensex shaved off about 180 points. It was the IT index that was brutally beaten out of shape. It surprisingly, though, the Bank Nifty managed to hold out, and very quiet for the broader end of the market. Let's get in Aisha Faridi, who wraps up all the market action. We're going into a long weekend, Aisha, and ahead of that, the markets definitely took it easy. What dragged them lower?
Lots of factors actually. The fact that it's a truncated week, tomorrow is a trading off. Globally, things are not looking all that great. We've been starting off on a daily basis with a very muted set of global cues. So no global support, and back home correction coming in for metals, and to add to that today you had Infosys disappointment as well. So let me take it from the top. Today we had a significant breach of the 9200 mark, which the Nifty has been defending sessions actually. So 9150 thereabouts, that's where we shut shop. Correction even for the broader markets. The small caps were relative outperformers, but a bad breath to close the day with. So metals clearly, and this has been the trend for the last two trading sessions. Today too they corrected. Vedanta, Tata Steel, Hindalco, Jindal Steel, they saw a fair amount of short pile up today as well. Infosys, of course, this was the most intriguing chart today. Started off with a bit of a pop in the pre-open session, and then came the selling pressure. Saw a bit of a recovery coming in, about 2% lower, and then again the stock tanked about almost 4% at the low point of the day. Big disappointment for the day, and I guess this is the momentum that you're going to see on Infi for some more days to come, where you're going to see some more weakness trickling in by. Adani Power and all Adani Group stocks, they continue to be beleaguered ever since the SC verdict on regulatory tariffs. Adani Tata Power lost a fair bit today as well. TCS, which is going to come out with its numbers on Tuesday, that as well saw some drubbing today, and Infratel was your other loser. What continues to shine, of course, is the OMC basket. IOC BP held out, Indiabulls Real Estate, Piramal Enterprises, couple of these realty plays, and Bharat Financial Financial as well rebounded today.